In an era when women weren't even allowed to vote, she controlled more money than most banks. She outmaneuvered robber barons, sued her own family, and was called the richest and meanest woman in America. While the nation panicked, she profited. She wasn't just a financier. She was a shark. Her name was Hetty Green, and she is arguably the most ruthless businesswoman in history. Before we dive into the unbelievable life of Hetty Green, hit that subscribe button for more true business stories that expose the minds behind money, power, and scandal. You won't want to miss what's coming next. Henrietta Howland Robinson was born in 1834 into a wealthy whaling family in New Bedford. From a young age, Hetty wasn't like the other girls. While they learned etiquette and embroidery, she was learning double-entry bookkeeping. Her grandfather would read her stock prices at bedtime. At age 6, she was reading financial newspapers. By 13, she was managing the family's financial accounts. Not helping, managing. And when her father died, she inherited a fortune, but not without a fight. Most heiresses would quietly accept their inheritance and marry into wealth. Not Hetty. She sued to get more. When her aunt died, Hetty presented a will that favored her. The family claimed it was a forgery. The battle raged for years in court, an early sign of Hetty's iron will and legal aggression. She wasn't afraid to sue her own flesh and blood, and it wouldn't be the last time she did. In 1867, she married Edward Green, but not before forcing him to sign a prenup. In the 1800s, she protected her wealth before it was fashionable. When Edward lost money speculating, she cut him off. Eventually, she separated from him entirely, but never legally divorced, likely to avoid legal complications. To Hetty, everything was about control. While other investors panicked, Hetty thrived. She kept massive reserves of cash. When markets collapsed, she bought railroad stocks, government bonds, foreclosed properties, all scooped up at pennies on the dollar. During the panic of 1907, she wrote personal checks to bail out banks, but with high interest. People feared her, but they needed her. She was a lender of last resort. Before the Federal Reserve existed, Hetty wore old, unfashionable clothes, lived in cheap boarding houses, refused to turn on the heat. They called her the Witch of Wall Street. But this wasn't humility. It was strategy. She believed every wasted penny weakened her. Her stinginess became legendary. The most infamous story? Her son, Ned, injured his leg. Hetty, unwilling to pay hospital fees, reportedly dressed in rags and begged for free care at a charity hospital. He was refused. The leg eventually had to be amputated. True or exaggerated? Historians debate it, but the myth stuck, and Hetty didn't care. At her peak, Hetty Green was worth over $100 million. The equivalent of $2 to $4 billion today. And yet she ran no company, no office tower, no brand. She was the business, a walking bank, using her mind, memory, and grit. She carried government bonds in a satchel, kept money in trunks, studied markets by candlelight. She once said, "I don't buy anything unless it's cheap. If it's cheap enough, I buy a lifetime supply." No frills, no par, no board meetings, just results. Hetty was involved in hundreds of lawsuits, from evicting tenants to fighting siblings. She was once evicted from a bank for moving in with her bond satchels. She set up shop at another, and they gave her an office, not out of kindness, out of fear that she'd pull her millions and crash their liquidity. She was ruthless, unforgiving, calculating, and proud of it. Hetty Green died in 1916 at age 81, living modestly to the very end. She left behind one of the largest private fortunes in the world, but she never built an empire with her name. No company bears her initials. No tower rises in her memory. No smiling portrait on the cover of Forbes. Why? Because Hetty Green didn't care about legacy. She cared about power and keeping it. To some, Hetty was a miser. To others, a genius. She didn't break laws. She didn't steal. She just beat everyone, coldly, logically, and legally. She outlived the men who mocked her, outsmarted the bankers who feared her, and she proved that a woman, with no company, no husband, and no mercy, could become one of the richest people on earth. In her own words, "It is the duty of every woman to learn to take care of her own business affairs." Hetty Green did that, and then some. We celebrate titans who take risks, but we forget the ones who took control. Hetty Green wasn't liked. She wasn't warm, but she was right. And in the world of money, being right is all that matters. If you found this story as fascinating and chilling as we did, hit that subscribe button right now. This channel is your front row seat to the untold truths behind history's most shocking business stories. What do you think? Was Hetty Green a brilliant strategist or just cold-hearted? If you had her money, would you live like she did or spend it all? What do you think was the most shocking thing Hetty Green did? Tell us in the comments.